CreepyCorner stories.
Hey folks, before we dive into tonight's stories, I want to give a huge thank you to Kieran Tibbetts and Lisa Collin for supporting the channel and being amazing members. So if you enjoy what you hear tonight, you're in the right place. Now, grab your headphones, turn off the lights, and let's step into another amazing night. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and comment below. What kind of story hits you the hardest? The ones that feel too real, or the ones that could actually happen to someone you know? My grandma worked for a lab in the 70s. I found her employee file on a dark web server under human replication. What's up, guys? I don't even know where to start with this. But if you're into weird stories, deep web stuff, or just creepy real-life mysteries, buckle up, because this one's been haunting me for the past 6 months. And no, this isn't some Sleepy Hollow internet fanfic or whatever. This is actually something that happened to me. Still happening, if I'm being honest. I'm just your average 21-year-old dude. Nothing special. I live in Denver. I go to school part-time, work at a gas station just off Colfax, and most nights I'm just chilling in Discord with my friends or falling asleep to old YouTube horror channels like Mr. Nightmare or Luna if I'm feeling nostalgic. I don't mess with creepy show tea in real life, but sometimes you don't go looking for it. Sometimes it finds you. So my grandma passed away late last year. She was 84, lived alone in an old house in Arvada, Colorado, and was one of those don't ask questions, just eat your soup kind of grandmas. Super secretive. My mom used to say she worked at a research lab in the 70s, but she never told us where. And honestly, we never really asked. She had that stern military widow energy. Like if you touched her old photos, you'd get smacked with a ladle. Anyway, after the funeral, me and my cousin Jake got stuck with cleaning out her house. Mostly boring stuff. Boxes of knitting, expired cans from the 90s, a drawer full of birthday cards she never mailed. But then we found the basement door. Now, I've been to that house probably over 100 times growing up, but I swear on my life, I never noticed this little panel behind the bookshelf in the laundry room. It looked like it had been bolted shut for years, like the kind of door you see in movies and instantly think, yeah, nah, let's leave that shut. But of course, Jake goes full Indiana Jones and grabs a crowbar. We pop it open and go down this narrow concrete staircase that smells like damp cardboard and old pennies. At the bottom is this straight up time capsule, like the place hadn't been touched since 1974. There was a rotary phone mounted on the wall, ashtrays full of old cigarettes, and a desk covered in yellowed papers. But the creepiest part, there was a locked metal filing cabinet in the corner. It had her name on a label, H. Madsen, property of Virginics Corp. Neither of us had ever heard of Virginics before. Sounded made up. Jake started Googling it right there on his phone, but nothing came up. I mean nothing. Not even a defunct website or corporate wiki page. Just a few forum threads with people asking if anyone remembered a company called Virginics, all with zero replies. Eventually, we pried open the cabinet with a tire iron from her garage. Inside were dozens of manila folders, each one labeled with combinations of letters and numbers, like sub-EJ-X19-cleave and phase 4-closed. The one that really got me, though, was the thick red folder labeled in blocky typewriter font, Replication Subject, HLM, JA, classified. I opened it. Inside was a photo of a young woman, maybe 25, hair pulled back, cold stare. Kind of looked like a mugshot. But the wildest part, it was my grandma. Same cheekbones, same eyes. Only, the birth date listed was 2001. Jake looked at it and joked. Guess Nana was a time traveler. I didn't laugh, because next to the photo was a data sheet listing all kinds of strange vitals. Bone density, retina calibration index, emotional range threshold. There was a section titled Synthetic Autonomy Stability, PASS. What the hell does that even mean? But we weren't ready for what was inside the brown envelope clipped to the back of the file. A USB stick. I swear to God, I looked at Jake and said, if there's a cursed MP4 on this thing, I'm flying to Tulum and never coming back. We plugged it into my laptop back at my apartment later that night. There was only one file on it, a text document called deep_access.vgn. When I opened it, it was just this block of messy code, like someone tried to write HTML while having a stroke. But buried in the middle was a string of numbers and letters that looked like a URL. Not a normal one either, like those onion links from the dark web. I'm not gonna lie, I hesitated, but curiosity always wins with me. I booted up Tor, pasted the link, and hit enter. It loaded instantly. No loading, no delay. The page was pitch black, except for a blinking red cursor in the middle and a question typed above it. Do you want to continue the replication program? No login screen, no splash page. Just that. I typed. Who are you? Nothing. I typed. What is replication? And then the page glitched. Like legit glitched. My laptop fan started going wild, and the screen flickered like an old VHS tape. Then, slowly, one word appeared. Accessing. And then everything went black. Like the screen just shut off. Not crashed. Not froze. Powered off completely. But the laptop was still on. The fans were spinning. Keyboard lit. But no display. When it finally rebooted, it took like 10 minutes. There was a new folder on my desktop. I didn't create it. It was named Replica//active. Inside were 7 JPEGs. Each one was a different person's face, all taken in what looked like a security cam. Still, grainy, low res, but every single person looked almost human, like 99.8% human. But the eyes weren't right, too focused, too still. And the file names? They were timestamps, future timestamps. The first one, 11th of June, 2025, Starbucks, Dubai Mall. I googled the exact Starbucks in Dubai. It exists. And that timestamp? It's today. Right now, as I'm writing this. The second photo was timestamped 2 days from now, at a McDonald's in Berlin. The next one, a crosswalk in Shibuya, Tokyo. Then a hotel lobby in San Diego. And the last photo was me, sitting at my desk, wearing the same hoodie, same monitor wallpaper. Timestamp, 11th, 13th, 2025. 7 days from now. And I swear on everything, I haven't taken that photo. No one's come to my apartment. I checked every camera, every window. Nothing. But someone or something knows exactly where I'll be. And I think it's watching. The day after I posted part 1, I went to work like nothing happened. That sounds dumb now, but I guess I was still trying to treat this like some weird prank from the universe. Like maybe the USB was some old ARG and the photos were AI generated or whatever. Deepfakes. I even laughed at myself a little while ringing up scratch tickets for a guy who smelled like microwave tuna. I tried to tell myself I was just tripping. Lack of sleep. Reddit brain rot. But then the customer said something that made me lock up. I hadn't told anyone what was in the folder. Not Jake, not my Discord, not even in the post. I never mentioned the hoodie I was wearing in that final photo, the gray Colorado Buffs hoodie with the cigarette burn near the collar. He looked at me with this casual blank smile and said, "That hoodie looks better in this lighting. Looks cleaner. Less end stage." "Sorry?" I asked, scanning his card. He didn't reply, just stared at me, blinking slowly, mouth closed, but stretched too far at the corners, like a face someone built with instructions missing a page. He left with his Doritos and walked out into the parking lot. No car, no bike, just gone when I looked back 5 seconds later. I rewound the CCTV footage from the store's back monitor. He wasn't on it, like he never walked in. When I got home, there was a new folder on my desktop. Replica, Judge, Insert, Version, Void. It hadn't been there when I left. And my apartment's a tiny one-bedroom above a vape shop. No one's getting in here without me hearing it. I checked the footage on my indoor cam, just in case I sleepwalked or whatever. It glitched for 31 seconds between 2:34 and 2:35 p.m. When the video resumed, the folder was there. I clicked it open, heart pounding. Inside were 3 things: a short .mep4 named 07C-playback, a.txt file called instructions _mandatory, a zip folder titled Witnesses. The video played first. It started in total black. Then slowly, a red fluorescent light faded in. I recognized the space instantly. It was the concrete basement from my grandma's house. Except now, the room was filled with replica bodies, naked, featureless, lined up on metal slabs like mannequins dipped in skin. No hair, no eyes, just blank shapes, mouths slightly open. One of them twitched every couple seconds, like it had a heartbeat it didn't understand. I was breathing so loud it echoed in my room. The camera panned slowly. In the corner was one body that wasn't blank. It had hair, eyebrows, lips, my lips. It was me. Perfect replica. Down to the scar on my knee from falling off a Lime scooter last year. But its chest was cut open, exposed, wet ribs, like someone had scooped out the insides and replaced them with metallic tubing and weird cables that pulsed like veins. One of the tubes moved when the body breathed. The screen glitched. Hard, loud burst of static. Then the video cut to something worse. Footage of a real person, not a replica, tied to a gurney, crying. A young woman, mid-20s maybe, duct tape over her mouth, convulsing in fear. Her eyes darted side to side as shadowy figures moved around her. They didn't talk. They didn't even wear masks. Just sterile lab coats, gloves, faces that never blinked. A high-pitched whine rang out. One of them held up a syringe full of something yellow and flickering like it was alive. The woman screamed behind the tape. The lights dimmed, and a metal arm descended from the ceiling like something out of Saw. I couldn't look away. I wanted to, but my hand wouldn't close the window. The last frame of the video froze on her wide, unblinking eyes. And a timestamp. Status. Converted. 10th of March, 2025. I opened the instruction file next. It was written like a software manual. Sterile. Uncaring. Vigenics Autonomous Replication System. User Access Level. Deviation Protocol 1X. Thank you for accessing the replication archives. Due to your engagement with Phase 1 material, you are now an active witness to Operation Mirror Host. Your consciousness has been indexed. This is a non-reversible process. The following tasks must be completed to maintain your cognitive partition stability. Do not inform unauthorized parties of the folder contents. Avoid all mirrored surfaces between 2 a.m. and 4:30 a.m. local time. Do not answer if your phone rings with a blocked number and the ringtone plays "You talking to me" in reverse audio. If you see yourself in public, do not engage. Do not follow. Do not film. Leave the area immediately. If your replica visits you, remain still. It will leave once assessment is complete. Never delete the folder. Deletion triggers the fail-safe protocol. You do not want to experience fail-safe protocol. Welcome to continuation. The lost folder was labeled Witnesses. I double-clicked. There were 50 .txt files, each named after a real person. I recognized one. Lucas, Reynolds, Denver, failed. That was my neighbor from 3 floors up. We'd smoked together on the fire escape like 5 times. Talked about old PS2 games and AI art. I hadn't seen him in weeks. His file was full of logs, like diary entries, except they weren't written by him. They were written by the replica, and they were off. The host is compliant, smiles on cue, mocks memes without understanding. Night vocalization, 3:47 a.m., unprompted. Attempted mirror breach, neutralized. Another file had timestamps with medical data. Things like subject retained 38% frontal lobe autonomy before reset, and skin harvest succeeded. Optic nerves preserved. The last line of the Lucas file read, Reclamation complete. Original body deactivated. I couldn't breathe. I closed the folder and backed away from my desk like it might lunge at me. I ran to my bathroom, looked in the mirror, and I swear to you, for a split second, just a blink, I saw my reflection move slightly out of sync, like it was watching me, and it realized I noticed. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in my living room with every light on, my laptop powered off, my phone in a drawer. I kept thinking about the instruction that said not to delete the folder. So of course, at 3:07 a.m., I deleted it. I dragged the whole damn thing to the trash and hit empty. I thought it worked. I even laughed. I posted on Discord. IDC anymore. I deleted the goddamn file. Let them come LOL. At 3:11 a.m., my smoke alarm went off. But there was no smoke, no fire, just a stench, like burning hair and copper. It filled the whole room in seconds. My lights flickered. The TV turned on by itself, screen static. And from the hallway, not inside my apartment, but right outside the front door, I heard 3 sharp knocks, then a voice. My own voice. Why'd you delete me? I didn't move. I didn't breathe. Another knock. Then the voice again, louder. You broke the contract. I grabbed a kitchen knife and my phone, but it wouldn't turn on. The screen was black, no matter how many times I tapped it. Then came a sound from the door, a slow dragging, like nails across wood, followed by a low gurgling, like a throat full of water trying to speak. The lights died completely, and from the darkness behind the door, I heard, Phase 2 initialized. Organics no longer required, then silence. No footsteps, no creaks, just nothing, until I heard something click behind me. My laptop turned back on. New folder. Replica, just breach, just an entry. Inside it was one single image. It was me again. Same desk, same window, same room. Only this time, my mouth was wide open, and there was something inside it. A hand, pale, veiny, reaching out. The timestamp read 11:13/2025, 03:33 a.m. I didn't sleep after the folder reappeared. I didn't go to work, didn't respond to Jake's texts. I didn't eat. I just sat there, staring at the image on my laptop of myself with that hand coming out of my mouth like some kind of reverse birth. And it was my hand. The scars, the mole on the wrist. I'd know it anywhere. But the skin was waxy, wrinkled like it had been soaked in something not water. The nails were too long, curved, a little black under them, and the fingers looked like they were trying to crawl out of me. I slammed the laptop shut, and then I heard a thump from inside my closet. I live alone. No pets. I sat perfectly still for almost 5 minutes before I even dared look at the closet door. It wasn't open, not cracked, just slightly bent, like the wood had warped outward. The doorknob had gone crooked, like something pushed from the inside hard enough to misalign the screws. I picked up the knife again. My hands were ice. Walked to the closet. Slowly. Every hair on my body standing like static had kissed me. I pressed my ear to the wood. Silence. Then, breathing, but not regular breathing. This was wet, like gurgling through blood and saliva. The kind of sound you'd hear if someone was trying to take a breath without a face. Then I heard my voice whisper from inside. We finished growing. Open up. I fucking ran. Didn't even grab my phone. I sprinted down the apartment steps in socks, past the vape shop dude mopping the front door. He yelled something like, "Yo, you good?" But his voice glitched halfway through, like his vocal cords hit a firewall. It stuttered, like a corrupted audio file. I didn't stop running until I hit 14th and Blake downtown, gasping, hands shaking, sweat freezing on my back. I made it to an old diner that's open 24/7, sat at a booth in the back, didn't order anything, just stared at the Formica table and tried not to scream, tried to pretend I wasn't rotting from the inside. And then my phone buzzed. It was dead when I left. I hadn't charged it, but now it was on, and there was one notification. Incoming airdrop. Mirror host reward.mp4. I stared at it for like a full minute. The woman at the next booth was looking at me. Her eyes didn't blink, didn't even moisten. I swiped decline. It popped up again. Same name. Swiped decline. It popped up again. Every time I denied it, it came back faster, until it accepted itself. The screen went black. Then the camera activated. It was recording me. I tried to force quit the app, but my fingers couldn't move. I couldn't move. It was like being inside a dream, paralyzed under sleep's boot. My body belonged to something else. All I could do was stare at the camera. Then a voice came from the speaker, low and slurred, like it was trying to imitate human cadence. Replication complete. Integration begins now. Then the video feed changed, and I saw myself, not sitting in the diner, not across from the camera, but standing in the middle of a surgical room, strapped to a vertical table with my chest peeled open like paper, wires running into the meat, eyes wide, no pupils. A lab tech, if you can call it that, was stitching another version of my face onto the replica's skull with black thread, each stitch pulling the skin tighter like a puppet being sealed shut. And behind it, mounted on the wall, was a mirror, not glass, just an endless black pool, and something moved in it, something tall, bone white, no face, limbs like they were drawn wrong on purpose. It pointed at me. The camera feed cut out. My phone turned off. I screamed, out loud. People stared, but no one moved, not even the waitress. Her hand just hovered over a coffee pot, like she'd forgotten what coffee even was. I ran again. That's when I got the call. From Jake. I don't remember what I said when I picked up. Probably just, hello, or dude. But his voice wasn't his. It sounded like it had been scraped together from dozens of audio clips of his real voice. Like some I was trying to reassemble him from memory, but kept getting the tone wrong. Why'd you take the file, man? You should have left it in the cabinet. You were never supposed to read it. I asked him where he was. He responded with a static screech that dropped my phone to the ground. Then a whisper came through, not from the phone, but from inside my mouth. I could feel the words vibrating behind my teeth, like something else was speaking through me. Jake doesn't exist anymore. I went back to my apartment, like an idiot, like a drugged animal walking back into the trap, because it was warm once. When I got there, the closet door was off the hinges, not broken, melted off. The hinges were twisted like wet clay. Inside the closet, there was no closet, just a doorway, a hallway I'd never seen before, and it led downward, gray stairs, fluorescent buzz, like a hospital for the dead. I followed it. I had to. There was no choice anymore. Every step down made my ears buzz, like the frequency was pressurizing the further I went. Halfway down, the lights above me flickered. I saw a shadow move against the wall. It was my silhouette, but the arms were too long. The spine was wrong, bent. At the bottom was a room that smelled like salt and rot and metal. The dead room. That's what the sign said, etched in rusted steel above the entry. Dead room, Virginics branch, X South. It looked like an abandoned morgue. Slabs pulled out. Bodies, not rotting, but decaying wrong. Like they were fresh, but didn't know how to stay dead. Each body had a placard beside it. Every placard had a real person's name. Some had photos from social media, Instagram profiles, TikTok bios, old YouTube thumbnails. Mine was there, from my high school graduation, smiling like a dumbass. The body beneath it was missing its jaw. I walked past them, heart frozen in my chest. Then I found her. Grandma, or what used to be her. She was in a tank, not water. Something thicker. Amber, bubbling slightly. Her eyes opened when I got close. Her lips twitched. Phase 3. Organic memory mapping. You are host, I screamed. I grabbed a metal chair and slammed it into the tank. It didn't crack, but my reflection did. My reflection in the tank shattered like glass, but the surface didn't change. And out from the crack in the reflection, something began to crawl through. A new version of me, with no skin, just muscle, veins twitching, bones moving wrong. It opened its mouth, and the voice of my mother came out. You've been gestating since the file opened. Host rejected. Prepare for overwrite. Then it lunged at the glass, and for one moment it breathed. On the inside of the tank, I blacked out. When I woke up, I was in my bed, just like normal. Phone on the charger, laptop closed, closet door intact. For one breathless moment, I thought I'd hallucinated the entire thing, but then I checked my texts. There was one from Jake. You saw the dead room. Don't trust mirrors anymore. They're not reflections. They're waiting rooms. And there was one from an unknown number. Integration complete. New folder assigned. I turned to my laptop. There it was. Replica U Final Seed. I haven't opened it yet, because I think this is the part where I stop being me. I didn't open the new folder. I want to make that clear before anything else. Whatever is happening, whatever thing is running this, I'm not cooperating anymore. I'm not clicking anything. I'm not opening anything. I'm not following their rules, their phases, their welcome host bullshit. But that doesn't matter, because it opened itself. I didn't notice at first. My laptop was shut, lid closed, and I'd shoved it under a blanket like it could poison the air. But when I finally looked, the screen was already on, the folder already open, and there weren't files inside this time. There was just A live stream window, black at first, then flickering, then a room lit by that same sickly red, unhuman light from the basement video. The angle was the same as before, security camera view, but the place was different, bigger, cleaner, like the new version of the dead room. Steel floors, reinforced glass walls, surgical lights above metal chairs bolted to the ground, and there were people in the chairs. Every single one of them was me, some older, some younger, some with hair, some bald, some crying silently, some staring blankly like their souls had been solved like math and removed for efficiency. One of them was laughing, but not normally, mouth wide, jaw trembling, no sound coming out, just shaking like a looped GIF of a broken human expression. Above them, a digital display blinked. Replication chain, 47 out of 100 complete. That's when I realized, they're not copying me. They're replacing me in batches, like printing updated versions of a software until the human build becomes obsolete. Then the stream zoomed in, closer, closer, until I recognized one of them, not because of the face, but because of the hoodie. The same hoodie I was wearing the day I plugged in the USB, burn mark and all. And he saw the camera, his eyes locked straight into it, not confused, not afraid, pleading. He mouthed something, 3 words, over and over. "Let me die." I slammed the laptop shut, but the audio didn't stop. Even with the lid closed, the speakers kept playing this wet, rhythmic clicking, like someone chewing in reverse, bones grinding before the bite. Then a voice, layered, like a choir speaking in one throat. Iteration 48 initializing, host retention decreasing. We require correction. Something moved behind me. Not footsteps, weight displacement, like something standing up from under the floorboards. I didn't breathe, didn't blink. The sound came again, but mirrored, like whatever it was didn't know how to imitate walking correctly, like a child wearing the memory of legs. Slowly, the air shifted. The temperature dropped in sections, as if an invisible shape was moving through the room. Then I heard a whisper, but not in my ear, in the walls, in the air vents, in the electricity. "Turn around. We need to measure your eyes." I didn't. That probably saved me. Instead, I grabbed my phone, ran into the hallway, and smashed the fire alarm panel with my elbow. The whole building started screaming. Red strobes lit the walls, but my neighbors didn't come out. Not a single door opened. Not one voice yelled, like I was the only organic thing left on the floor. Something was wrong. I ran outside onto the street and didn't stop until I reached Union Station. There were people everywhere. Tourists, students, business zombies, with Starbucks. But no one was really looking at anything. Not their phones, not their surroundings, not even their own hands. Just forward, blinking too slow, moving like they weren't the ones making their bodies move. I stood in the crowd and watched. One guy's shoelace came undone. He kept walking. He didn't notice when he tripped. Didn't react when his knee split open on the concrete. Didn't even look when blood started soaking through his jeans. Just kept moving, like the pain signal never reached a destination. That's when I saw one. Not a replica of me, a replica of someone else. A teenage girl, braided hair, school backpack, AirPods, but her pupils were too wide, swallowing almost the entire iris. Her head rotated a moment too slow, like a camera panning, and for just a second she looked straight through me. Not at me, through me, like she was checking the space I occupied, not my face. Then she said it, out loud, same voice as the live stream chorus. Replication chain expanding. You are contaminant. I didn't wait. I just ran again. Jake finally called me back later that night. It was him this time, not the broken voice. He was whispering. Sounded like he was hiding inside a metal container, breath shaking. Don't go near mirrors. Don't let them see your eyes reflect. That's how they finished the scan. I asked him where he was. He said he was in a storage unit outside the city. Unit number 209. He said he wasn't alone. There were others like him. Others who escaped before their replicas replaced them. I asked him how he got away, and he said something that made my throat go dry. You don't escape. Something goes wrong in the manufacturing process. A glitch, a delay. If they freeze the wrong version long enough, you can run before the reboot completes, but it follows you. I asked what does. He didn't answer. All I heard was a second voice behind him, whispering, soft, wet, childlike. Host, found. Then the line went dead. The next morning I checked the news. Nothing. No mention of people not reacting to pain. No reports of missing identities. No strange bodies. Nothing about Virginics. Not even an obituary for Lucas, the neighbor whose file I saw. But on Instagram, I saw his new post. It was a selfie. Same face, same hair, same voice in the caption. Except his eyes were wrong. Too still, too clean. And the caption said, "Feels good to be back. New me. New year. New skin." 127 comments. All bots. All saying, "Welcome back, host." And something else happened. I remembered something I shouldn't have forgotten. That woman in the dead room tank. My grandma. She didn't blink. Once. Not when she watched me. Not when she spoke. And I realized something. Replicas can move. They can think. They can mimic. But they can't blink on time. They don't need to. Blinking's for humans who still need moisture and instinct. Replicas don't dry out. They don't need rest. They only simulate it. And suddenly, every interaction I've had in the past 3 days rewound through my head like a corrupted VHS. The gas station dude who didn't show up on the camera. The diner waitress holding the same pose for minutes. The crowd at Union Station with dry, unblinking eyes. They weren't ignoring anything. They weren't in there anymore. The city is filling with them, quietly, replacing one body at a time, and nobody's noticing, because they look close enough, but the eyes give them away. Always the eyes, too wide, too dark, too still. And then I made the mistake of looking into my bathroom mirror, not at my reflection, at my eyes, and for the first time in my life, I realized I couldn't remember the last time I blinked. I was still awake. I hadn't blinked in almost 3 hours, not on purpose. I couldn't. Every time my lids started to close, a sharp, electric sting would ripple through the back of my skull, like tiny claws digging in, flaying nerves from the inside, like something was connected now, watching from behind my eyes, punishing me for trying to shut it out, and it was spreading, not through my skin, through my thoughts. It was small at first, skipped memories, lost minutes. I'd stare at the wall, then suddenly it's nighttime. I'd be brushing my teeth and taste blood with no cuts in my mouth. I'd say words that weren't mine. Look at people on the street and know their names before they introduce themselves. I'd sit down to think and find thoughts already waiting, like someone else had left them open and warm. And when I checked my reflection, it was smiling. I wasn't. Let me tell you about the seed. That folder, the one called Replica U Final Seed. It didn't just open on its own. It infected. Every screen in my apartment now has the same background. My monitor, my phone, even the little LED display on my microwave, all showing the same thing. My face, mouth slightly open, eyes hollowed, drained of their light, with a line of text beneath it in that same inhuman courier font. Root system confirmed. Sprouting. Then came the knock. Soft, measured. 3 taps. I froze. Knife in hand. Again. It wasn't fear anymore. It was a ritual. Like part of me had been coded to expect it. Some looped behavior embedded in whatever they left inside me. Like it wanted me to answer. So I didn't. I just waited. But then a voice whispered from behind the door. From every door. The bathroom. The closet. My fridge. My laptop speakers. My goddamn ceiling fan. All speaking at once. All in my voice. All saying, if you don't answer, we'll let you finish decaying. And then my phone lit up. Not a call. A live video feed. I didn't open it. It opened itself. It showed a small white room. Stainless steel floors. Chains. 1 table. 1 surgical chair with thick black restraints that looked melted into the metal. A light dangling above like a cruel moon. And in the chair, Jake, stripped naked, skin pale, mouth sewn shut with surgical thread. Each stitch pulled so tight, his gums were bruised purple. His chest was open, still breathing. Ribcage spread like butterfly wings. His heart was gone, but he was still alive, still watching the camera. Eyes full of agony and something worse than fear. Submission. And carved into his forehead with brutal, shaking lines, like it was done by someone who didn't understand pain, were 3 words. I accepted seed. I closed the phone. I broke it in half, snapped it like a goddamn graham cracker, and flushed both pieces. Then I heard the hiss, not from the walls, from inside my jaw. I ran to the mirror again, wrenched my mouth open. There, tucked just behind my back molars, was a black slit, like a new gum line had formed over something foreign, something metallic. I grabbed tweezers, dug deep, tore. Blood filled my throat, and I vomited on the floor. But I got it out. A chip. Not plastic. Not even modern. Something older. Burnt. Like it had been through a dozen bodies before mine. The surface still pulsing slightly, like it knew it was gone. I crushed it under a dumbbell. The lights in my apartment cut out immediately. All of them. Even my backup battery. Even the streetlight outside. Darkness fell like a death sentence. Then a screen flickered on. Just one. My laptop. On it, a black window with one message. You have severed the seed. Autonomy detected. Terminate or transfer. I couldn't breathe. I didn't type anything, but it responded anyway. Decision made. Transfer initializing, and then it opened the webcam, but not facing me. Facing out, into the world. It wasn't just watching me anymore. It was uploading me. Everything I was. Thoughts, movements, voice print, facial structure. All digitized, flattened, duplicated, and sent. Somewhere deeper than the deep web. Not a site, a system, a network of vessels, waiting for new identities, new behaviors, waiting to wear me. And that's when I realized the final seed wasn't me becoming one of them. It was me becoming the source of them. They don't make replicas, they grow them. From real minds, from ours. Like mental cordyceps, like infection of thought. And every time someone opens a file like mine, every time someone downloads that folder from the deep web, every time someone reads this story and believes just enough for their brain to light up the possibility, they plant another seed. I tried to run. Again. I left the city, smashed every piece of tech I had, hitchhiked into the mountains, holed up in an abandoned ranger's cabin in the Rockies with no power, no signal, Nothing but melted snow and canned beans. It worked. For a while. But 2 nights ago, I heard someone outside. Just one person. Walking slow. Deliberate. Then, 3 knocks on the door. I didn't answer. But in the dead silence afterward, I heard breathing. Close. Inside. Not mine. I spun around and saw the closet in the corner was cracked open. And through the gap, I saw my own eye staring back. Not blinking. Not afraid. Just waiting. I haven't left the cabin. I haven't eaten. I don't even know if I'm writing this or if it's writing me. Because this isn't a warning. This is a seed. And the more you read it, the more you remember it, the more real it becomes. So if you've made it this far, you've already opened the file. You've already looked too long into the glass. You've already forgotten the last time you blinked. So I'll ask one last time, are you still you? Look in the mirror. Count how many of you are staring back. And if it's more than one, it's already begun. My mom's old email got hacked. The hacker sent me a link to a red room, labeled with our family name. Alright, so I don't usually post on Reddit or anything, but after what happened 2 nights ago, I literally can't sleep. Like I've been sitting in my room since 4 a.m. just watching my doorknob, watching it move, because I swear something's been trying to get in. And before you say it, yes, I know how that sounds. No, I'm not on anything. I haven't smoked since like last month. I'm dead serious. Something is wrong. It started with an email. And yeah, I know that's a lame start to a horror story. But stay with me. I swear on everything, it gets way worse. So, for context, I'm 21, in college, staying in a studio apartment in Chicago, near Wicker Park. I work part-time at Starbucks. Don't judge me. Free drinks. And I'm usually chilling online when I'm not slammed with classes. YouTube, Reddit, Twitter, TikTok. Same stuff as everyone else. I don't go looking for creepy crap. I'm not one of those let's go on the dark web for fun idiots. But I made a mistake. Last Friday night, I was at home, lights off, watching horror animations on YouTube. Like that Here's My Story channel. You know, the ones that are like someone followed me home and now lives under my bed or whatever. I fell asleep to one of them playing, and around 3:17 a.m., I woke up to my laptop screen still on. My inbox was open. That was weird because I don't check my old Gmail anymore, like ever. The email was from my mom's old account. Let me be clear, my mom passed away in 2018. I froze. Thought maybe my dad or aunt was trying to access her stuff for closure or something. But the subject line didn't make sense. It just said, "Come see your family." It's time I stared at it for a full minute. The body of the email was one line. No greeting, no sign-off. Just this cold message. "You've been selected. It's your blood this time. Click here to view the room." And then a link. Now, I know, you're screaming at your screen, "Don't click it." But come on, that kind of thing. When it's connected to someone you loved, your dead mother of all people, logic goes out the window. I clicked. I wish to God I hadn't. The link didn't go to a website exactly. It opened this full-screen black window with a loading symbol in the center, like a buffering video. Nothing else. No text. No title. Just that little swirling circle. For about 30 seconds. Then it switched. A live feed. The stream showed what looked like a red-lit room. Like, literally red. Like the entire room was glowing. either from lights or some kind of filter. The walls looked padded, like one of those sensory deprivation chambers. There was a metal chair bolted to the center of the room, leather restraints on the arms, chains on the floor. Nothing else. My heart dropped. You ever get that feeling like you're watching something you're not supposed to? Like that first time you saw something really messed up on the internet as a kid. That pit in your stomach. Multiply that by 100. This didn't feel fake. It felt like a hidden part of the internet that wanted to be found. Then a name popped up on the top corner of the screen in blocky red letters. Room 39. The My Last Name family. I stared at that name. My last name. Our family name. It was right there. I thought maybe it was a glitch, or like someone made a messed up ARG or prank. But the longer I watched, the more I realized this wasn't a game. The stream flickered. Then the camera cut to a hallway cam, like a security feed. It was in a house. I recognized it immediately. It was my childhood home. I could see the hallway outside my old bedroom, the one with the purple nightlight that buzzed a little when you plugged it in. I hadn't been there in years. We moved out after the accident. I slammed my laptop shut. My pulse was racing. I grabbed my phone and tried calling my dad, but it went straight to voicemail. I tried again. Same thing. I didn't sleep. I sat on my bed staring at the email on my phone. Just that one line. Your blood this time. Then, just before sunrise, I got a notification. Snapchat. It was from a random account. Username was just numbers. No Bitmoji. No name. No mutual friends. It was a video snap. I should have ignored it. But curiosity is a hell of a drug. I opened it. The video was a 3-second clip. Night vision camera. It showed someone standing at the end of a hallway. The camera was shaking slightly, like it was from someone holding a phone. The hallway. It was my apartment building. I recognized the wallpaper, the busted vending machine, the fire extinguisher duct taped to the wall. That was right outside my unit. The person in the video, they were standing with their back to the camera. Long black hoodie, just staring at my door. Then the video ended. My phone buzzed again immediately. Another message. Same account. Just 3 words. You clicked it. When I tell you the air tasted wrong, I mean it. That's not some poetic crap. I mean, I could feel the static on my teeth when I breathed in. My studio felt off, like the shadows were sticking to the corners a second longer than they should have. You know, when you're walking at night and it feels like you're being followed, even if you logically know you're alone. Imagine that, but inside your house, and it doesn't stop. After that snap, I didn't sleep, didn't even blink. I spent the entire night with a kitchen knife in one hand and pepper spray in the other, pacing in front of the door like some kind of cracked out security guard. I was watching TikToks on mute just to keep my brain distracted. Bright, stupid dance videos. But that feeling, it was still there. This weird heaviness in the room, like something was pressing down on the ceiling, waiting to snap the beams and fall through. The lights flickered once, just once, but it was enough to make my stomach flip. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't post. I didn't call. I didn't want to share this, because sharing felt like it made it more real, like giving it attention fed it. Around 10 a.m., my doorbell rang. I didn't move. I didn't breathe. No one ever uses my doorbell. Ever. The building's buzz is broken, and my friends text when they're downstairs. I waited a few seconds. It rang again, then again. 5 times in a row. Violent, twitchy rings. Ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. I checked the people. Nothing. Not no one. Nothing. The hallway was gone. Just static. Like my people had turned into a broken TV. That was when I realized my phone was gone. I had it on the bed. I was using it all night. But it wasn't there anymore. I ripped the sheets, tore through my closet, even checked the fridge, because I was spiraling hard. Gone. I finally went back to the peephole, and this time, there was something. It was my reflection. But here's the thing that still fucks with my head. You're not supposed to see yourself through a peephole from the inside. It doesn't work like that. The lens is shaped to warp the image from the other side. But I was staring at myself. Not just myself. My exact position, my posture, the room behind me. It was like a live stream from the back of my skull. Only the me in the peephole wasn't moving. I slowly raised my hand and waved. Nothing. The thing just stared. Then it smiled. I stumbled back and tripped over my desk chair, cracked my elbow on the floor hard. When I looked up, the smile was wider. This unnatural plastic curl that showed too many teeth. Like it knew I was watching. Like it wanted me to see what real teeth looked like. That's when I heard the faucet. I don't even know how long it had been running. The sound was faint, like it was far away. But my studio isn't big. It should have been louder, but it sounded like it was in a crawl space or under the floorboards. I grabbed the knife again and walked toward the bathroom. Steam was billowing from under the door, but it wasn't hot. When I touched the knob, it felt like ice. I turned it slowly. It creaked open about 2 inches. All I could see was the mirror, and written on it in condensation were 5 words: watching from behind your eyes. That was enough. I grabbed my hoodie, my keys, and ran out. No phone, no wallet. Just got the hell out and bolted downstairs barefoot. I didn't even stop to lock the door. I crashed into my neighbor, Mrs. Lee, in the hallway. She was this sweet old Korean lady who used to bring me rice cakes during midterms. She looked up at me, pale as a ghost, and said one thing: "Don't go outside yet. They're still hungry." I was like, "What?" And she just shuffled back into her apartment and slammed the door. What do you do with that? I still went outside. Chicago was cloudy, as usual, but it felt too quiet. No buses, no honking. Even the pigeons were gone. I started walking fast, trying to make it to a Starbucks a few blocks down just to be around people. I needed lights, noise, normalcy. Halfway there, I saw a dude walking toward me. He looked normal. Hoodie, headphones. But as we passed, he whispered, not like accidentally muttering something under his breath. I mean, his lips were facing me. His head didn't turn, but I heard the words clearly. "They already picked your sister. Did you like the video?" I spun around. He was gone. Now here's the thing. I don't have a sister. I had a twin, Julia. She drowned when we were 8. Fell through a frozen lake up in Wisconsin while we were visiting some family cabin. I saw it happen. She went under. I screamed for our uncle. He didn't make it in time. But I swear to you, I heard her name again. Twice. Once whispered by a child behind me as I walked past a bakery window. Another time, printed on a missing persons poster, stapled to a telephone pole. But the photo, it was her. 8 years old, smiling in the snow. Poster dated 3 days ago. My stomach felt like it was filled with stones. Like everything I knew had been bent a few degrees sideways, and no one else noticed. I finally made it to Starbucks. Walked in shaking, got to the register, and asked to use their phone. The barista, a guy named Derek I used to work with, looked at me and blinked like he didn't recognize me. "You're not supposed to be here," he said. "What?" I asked. "You died. In that fire, remember?" I laughed. It came out wrong, like a bark, like it wasn't my voice. "I didn't die," I told him, gripping the counter. He just pointed to the corner. I turned, and I saw it. A makeshift memorial. Candles, wilted flowers. A photo of me, framed. I was smiling, with a holiday latte in my hand. And taped under it, a newspaper clipping. "Local student dies in apartment fire. Gas leak suspected. Dated 2 days ago." That's when I saw the man in the hoodie again, through the Starbucks window, standing across the street, watching me. Same guy from the hallway snap. Only this time, he had my phone, held up to his ear, smiling. I didn't run out of the Starbucks. I staggered, like the floor wasn't flat anymore, like the world had shifted a few inches to the left, and reality was still trying to catch up. No one stopped me. No one even looked at me. The customers, the baristas, every single one of them was staring straight ahead, like their eyes were glued open, like they weren't in there anymore. I didn't understand it then, but I do now. They weren't ignoring me. They were frozen. Out on the street, the air felt like it was humming. I could feel it through my hoodie, like my skin was being charged with something invisible. The man with my phone was still standing there across the street. He didn't move when I looked at him, just held the phone up higher, like he wanted me to see him using it. Then he tapped the screen, and my phone called me. My ringtone blasted from my pocket. I didn't answer. I threw the phone on the sidewalk like it was made of acid. It landed screen up, still ringing. My name in the caller ID. Mom's email. That broke me. Not in the crying, shaking, emotional kind of way. Number. This was metal snapping. This was something in my brain hitting the limit. I picked up the phone. I answered. I shouldn't have, but I did. I didn't hear breathing. I didn't hear talking. I didn't hear static. I heard typing. Fast, aggressive, like someone was typing with both hands, every finger hitting hard. Then a notification popped up on my screen. One new email in inbox. Mom. The call went dead. I opened the email app. There it was. No subject line, no sender icon, just a blank profile picture and the address, redacted@gmail.com, my mother's. The message was one sentence. Turn around. They want to see your reaction. I turned. Everyone on the street had stopped walking. Every single person, men, women, kids, people on bikes, dog walkers, a guy holding a full cup of Dunkin' with a straw still in the lid. All of them, frozen, heads turned toward me. Same expression, eyes wide, mouths just barely open, like mannequins mid-sentence. Then, in perfect unison, every single one of them smiled. Not a natural smile, not a friendly one. Their lips pulled back slowly, too slow, like they were trying to remember how humans do it. Some faces twitched, some stretched too far, some cracked at the corners. I backed up into the street, shaking so hard I could hear my bones clicking. I didn't even notice I was standing in the middle of the road until a bus passed through me. Not around me, through me. But I didn't feel it, because the bus wasn't real. Or I wasn't. I saw the ad on the side of the bus. It was me, sitting in that red room chair, chained, head hanging. Text under it said, "Live in 06/12/54. The clock was counting down. That was when I understood something I still don't know how to accept. The live stream wasn't showing the future. It was recording it. My future. The more I looked around, the more everything got worse. Billboards changed as I stared at them. Ads shifted into live feeds of me. My reflection in a car window flickered and showed me screaming, mouth full of blood I didn't have yet. A little girl, holding her mom's hand, pointed at me and whispered, "That's the next one." I ran. I don't remember where I went. Just blocks, alleys, parking lots, neighborhoods, until my lungs felt like someone was shredding them with razors. I wound up at the lake. Lake Michigan. Water was black like oil. Sky looked bruised. There were people scattered along the shore, all of them still, staring into the water. I thought maybe I'd finally found normal people again, until I got closer. They weren't staring into the lake. They were reflected in it, but not like reflections. Their bodies were facing the water, but the reflection was facing me. Dozens of reflection eyes locked on me, not blinking, not breathing. Then, one by one, the reflections started smiling again. No movement from the real bodies, just the mirror versions moving independently, like puppets that broke their strings. I backed away, shaking, and something crunched under my shoe. I looked down. It was a Polaroid, a freshly printed one, still warm. The picture was of me, sitting in the red room chair. Only this time, there was someone behind me in the frame, standing right over my shoulder. A figure in a black hoodie, head tilted, face covered. The back of the photo had a handwritten note. "You were never supposed to survive the lake." I dropped it, because I knew what it meant. Julia didn't fall in by accident, and neither did I. Only one of us drowned. The wrong one. I don't know how long I stayed at the lake. It could have been minutes or hours. The sun didn't move right. Shadows didn't match where people stood. The reflection things kept smiling at me from the water like they were waiting for a signal I couldn't hear. But the clock didn't stop. The countdown was still in my head. 47 minutes and 19 seconds. I didn't know where to go anymore. Home wasn't safe. The city wasn't real. People were shells. Screens knew things before I did. I wasn't living the story. I was following it, like I was walking through pre-recorded footage of my own life. I started running again, not towards safety, just away from whatever was watching me. Except every street looked familiar in a way it shouldn't, like déjà vu on a loop. I'd turn a corner and swear I'd already run past the same cracked street sign, the same boarded up Walgreens, the same crooked "Lost Cat" poster stapled to a pole. Same cat, same phone number, same tear on the bottom right corner. Someone wasn't copying reality. Someone was resetting it. I didn't realize I was near the old house until I stopped running. My childhood home. It shouldn't even still exist. It burned down after we moved. Insurance company said electrical fault. I remember the flames. I remember the black ash. I remember watching it collapse on the news and thinking it felt like watching the final death of my family. But it was here, perfectly intact. Porch light on, front door cracked open, and someone was inside, moving, not walking, rocking. I should have left. I should have turned around. But something pulled me in like a thread hooked behind my ribs. The same feeling you get when you watch a horror video and tell yourself you're gonna stop, but you don't, because the fear has already chosen you. I stepped inside. The house smelled the same. Dust, old wood, faint laundry detergent, like my mom had just washed the bed sheets, except the entire place was empty. No furniture, no pictures, no sound. Not even the floor creaked right. Every step echoed like I was inside a mouth. The rocking sound was coming from the living room, and that's when I saw it. A rocking chair, facing the corner, someone sitting in it, long black hair covering their face, feet barely touching the floor, just slowly rocking, back and forth, back and forth. I didn't breathe. I just stood frozen because I knew I wasn't supposed to see her until the countdown hit 0. Then she spoke. Not like someone talking to another person, like someone continuing a sentence they started years ago. You weren't supposed to leave me in the lake. I didn't want to believe it, but I recognized the voice. Julia. Except it wasn't her 8-year-old voice. It was older. A version of her that never lived long enough to grow up. Then she stopped rocking, and a phone in her lap lit up. MY phone. And on the screen, the live stream again. Only this time, the red room wasn't empty. Someone was in the chair, head down, arms tied to the metal bars, breathing heavy. I leaned closer, and my stomach turned to ice. It was me, not future me, not deep fake me, not a lookalike. Me now. Same clothes, same cut on my elbow from the fall in my apartment, same blood smear across my hand from the broken glass outside Starbucks. I was watching myself in a room I hadn't entered yet. Julia lifted her head slowly, hair peeling from her face like wet fabric, and that smile, the same broken smile from the peephole, stretched across her lips. She whispered, "They already filmed your suffering. Now they're just waiting for you to catch up to it." The livestream timer hit, the 5th hour, and started ticking down. Not seconds, frames, like someone was editing my life. I backed away, shaking, and I finally managed to yell, "What do you want from me?" She didn't blink. She didn't move. She just said, "They don't want you. They want the moment you stop fighting." Then she pointed behind me. I turned. There was a mirror leaning against the wall. A tall, cracked, gold-trimmed mirror I remembered from the hallway when I was a kid. But there was no reflection. None. Just darkness. Like the mirror wasn't showing what was in front of it, but what was behind it. Something moved inside the dark. Not fast, not slow, just aware. And then a hand pressed against the inside of the glass. Not my hand, not human. And the glass started to bend, like something was pushing through from the other side, not breaking it, replacing it. And the countdown on the phone hit. 4 hours, 59 minutes left. Let's not pretend anymore. You felt it, haven't you? That itch behind your eyes when the screen goes black for a second too long. That sense, right before you fall asleep, that the shape in the doorway isn't your coat on the hook, that it never was. That pull to look behind you when nothing should be there. It's not paranoia. It's the signal finding you. By the time I understood, I was already inside. No screams, no final chase. Just that chair, that room, that countdown. It didn't let me walk there. It recorded me walking there, and then made me remember it like it was a choice. I don't know where the transition happened. The mirror, the lake, the moment I clicked that email. Maybe I never left the bed that night. Maybe this whole thing's a recorded hallucination, played frame by frame, for an audience that doesn't blink. Maybe you're that audience, but I can tell you what it looked like. The floor was cold. The walls pulsed like flesh. The red wasn't light. It was blood behind plastic. Thin, stretched plastic, like skin over a drum. The camera was mounted in the ceiling, bolted into bone. No brand, no blinking red light, no microphone. But I felt it scanning me. Not just my face, my thoughts, the parts of myself I buried so deep I forgot their names. The chair wasn't empty. I was already in it, already restrained, already shaking, but I still walked in anyway. I watched myself sit down. I watched the door seal behind me. I watched the room tighten like a lung, and I finally understood what Julia meant. They didn't want my suffering. They wanted my moment of compliance. And once they had it, everything started to rewind, not like a VHS, not smooth, not instant, more like bleeding in reverse, twitchy, wet, intimate. They showed me every lie I'd ever told, to myself, to friends, to people I ghosted, to the girl I told I love you when I didn't mean it, to the guy I said I'm fine to when I was suicidal. They peeled me back, memory by memory, like nerves being plucked from a violin. Then they stopped. Frame 0, 0. A door opened that I hadn't seen before, and there, behind a two-way mirror, sat a viewing room, not full of people, full of screens, laptops, phones, TVS, projectors, VR headsets, Apple Watches, security cameras, Snapchat filters, anything with a lens. Every screen I'd ever used, and they were all playing the same feed. Me, in that chair, staring at the camera. But I wasn't alone on those screens. I saw you, sitting there, reading this, your eyes moving left to right, your pupils reflecting blue light. You. Yes, you. They're watching your reaction now. That's the final layer. Because the Red Room isn't just a stream. It's a test pattern, a virus made of attention. Once you see it, it starts filming. Once you feel it, it starts copying. Once you react, you become next. Do you remember the exact moment you clicked on this? Was it curiosity? Was it boredom? Was it that tiny part of your brain that likes to be scared? They count on that. They feed on that. You're not watching a horror story. You're not reading a creepypasta. You're sitting in your own Red Room now. The second your camera turned on without your permission, you just didn't notice. The countdown's already begun. Look at the top right of your screen. That tiny flicker, that's them marking your timestamp. Now check your inbox. Go ahead. See if there's an email from someone who shouldn't be able to write to you anymore. Open it. Read the subject line. Check the link. I dare you. But know this. The second you click, you've already sat down. You've already smiled. You've already whispered your name to them without opening your mouth. And they're already inside the mirror, waiting, recording. My dad's old laptop had a hidden dark web account. It shows our family, listed as subjects under surveillance. Yo, this is one of those stories that I've debated telling for a while. I know Reddit is full of creepy tech stuff, and most of it sounds like it was written by a guy who's seen too many found footage horror films. But I swear, everything I'm about to share really happened. I just needed a place to dump it all before I lose my mind. And if anything weird starts happening to you after reading this, I'm sorry. I really am. It started this summer. I came home from college for break, and my dad, who's normally the most paranoid guy about digital footprints and corporate data theft, was acting weirdly nostalgic. He'd started cleaning out the attic, going through boxes I didn't even know we had. That's when he handed me this old, chunky black laptop, some 2009 HP dinosaur with a greasy trackpad and a keyboard that clicked like a typewriter. "Want to mess around with it?" he said. "Maybe see if you can salvage any of those old pictures or family videos. Might be fun." At first, I thought nothing of it. I just wiped the dust off, plugged it in with the clunky charger, that had electrical tape wrapped around the cord and powered it up. Surprisingly, it still worked, albeit with the Windows 7 startup chime that hit me with some heavy nostalgia. Now here's the thing, there were two login accounts. One was labeled family and the other had no name. It was just blank. The family one had the usual, some vacation photos, a trip to Disney World in 2012, random Chuck E. Cheese birthdays, a few Word docs from my school essays, and an ancient copy of Minecraft that barely ran. Nothing crazy. But the other account? No password prompt, just a click, and you're in. Immediately, I noticed that the desktop was totally black. No wallpaper, no icons. The taskbar was set to auto-hide, and the mouse lagged as if it was fighting something under the hood. I hit Control plus Alt plus Delete to bring up the task manager, and that's when I saw a process running in the background called ov_serve_client.exe. Never heard of it. Googled it on my phone. Nothing. Even weirder, there was a folder in the root C drive, named just a single period. Hidden folder. I had to uncheck Hide Protected Operating System Files just to even see it. Inside that folder were names. Folders labeled with names. Mine, my sister's, my mom's, even my dad's. Each folder had videos, MP4 files, dozens of them. And they weren't family videos. They were surveillance, like actual camera footage. Me in my room, scrolling TikTok. My sister sleeping. My mom cooking in the kitchen. Footage from angles I couldn't place, like weird high-up corners of the room. Some of them were in night vision. One video had the file name s_living_0.41523_2am.mt4. I clicked it. My dad was just sitting on the couch, lights off, staring directly into the camera. Dead still. For 34 minutes. Not blinking. Just staring. Like he knew it was there. I slammed the lid shut so hard, the whole laptop nearly flew off my lap. I couldn't even breathe. I ran downstairs to find my dad, and when I asked him about the laptop, he looked at me, real calm, and said, "Don't go poking around in what's already been buried." That's when I noticed something. He wasn't surprised. He wasn't even mad. He was tired, like he knew this day was gonna come. He didn't ask what I saw. He didn't grab the laptop or deny anything. He just went out to the back porch, lit a cigarette, and sat there in silence. That night, I plugged the laptop back in, set up OBS on my current MacBook, and started recording my screen. I was gonna figure out what the hell this was. I opened the folder again, but this time I noticed something new. A second folder named _deepnode_. Inside were HTML files, no extensions, just raw pages. I opened one with Notepad, and it had lines of code linking to .onion addresses. That's when I realized this was a dark web portal, and it wasn't for buying guns or drugs or anything you'd expect from YouTube. I accessed the deep web at 3 a.m. clickbait. This portal had profiles with ratings. I'm not kidding. It was like Yelp, but for people. Me, my sister, my mom. There were comments under each of our names. Sleeps like a rock. Easy subject. Twitches sometimes. Good facial data. More testing recommended. Site resistance probable. The scariest part. My profile had a lost access time. Last viewed 15 minutes ago. That's when I heard a knock on the front door. It was 1:47 a.m. No one knocked. No one called. Just one soft knock. And the door camera? Dead. My phone app said, "Device not responding." I sat in the dark, heart punching my ribs, waiting for a second knock. It never came. I checked Twitter, Reddit, Nextdoor. Nothing weird reported in my area, but when I opened the security footage from earlier in the night, I saw it. A man in a black hoodie walking up to the porch. No logos, no face visible. He looked straight into the doorbell cam before it cut to static. The timestamp, 1:46 a.m. I haven't told my sister yet. She still doesn't know she's being watched, that we're all listed, rated, subjects under surveillance, and this is only the beginning. I didn't sleep after the knock. I didn't even move from my chair. I just sat there, lit only by the sick blue glow of the laptop screen, trying to understand what kind of world I had just stepped into. The deeper I clicked, the more it stopped feeling like my life and started feeling like I had accidentally opened the wrong door in a house I thought I knew. The Deep Node folder wasn't just some creepy archive. It was active, like a hub. And the more I looked, the more I realized this wasn't just about my family. There were hundreds of names, probably thousands, all in alphabetical order, categorized by age, gender, location, house layout familiarity, and behavioral instability risk. And every profile had something called a status tag: observed, trial, stage, retired. I didn't know what retired meant at first. I thought maybe it was like no longer being watched. But then I opened one of the retired profiles, some guy from Ohio, and the only file under it was a PDF. Just a police report. Missing person. Last seen 2019. Case unsolved. That's when I realized something. Being watched wasn't the worst stage. Being done was. There was a tab at the top of the portal called Room Feed, and I swear the second I clicked it, I knew I was doing something I couldn't undo. It was a live stream panel, 6 screens at once, random people in different houses, sleeping, eating, showering. One teenage boy was playing Fortnite at like 4 a.m. A woman was washing dishes while her toddler played with blocks on the floor. Another guy just sat on his couch scrolling TikTok. Same posture I've done a million times. None of them knew. None of them had a clue they were being monitored. Each feed had a chat bar under it. Viewers were typing. Live. Subject 44 has started pacing again. Kid's gonna fall asleep at the PC. Someone raise the audio. I want to hear what she's muttering. No usernames, just timestamps, and little icons showing what looked like badges, probably status in whatever sick hierarchy this was. One of the viewers typed, "Whoever owns laptop number D17, your subject index just went active." I froze. The laptop I was on was labeled D17. Before I could click out, a new window popped up. Live feed enabled. Subject group, Henderson family. And there I was, on screen, sitting in my room, from an angle I had never noticed, behind the bookshelf, a tiny hole between the wood grain. The chat lit up instantly. The kid found the node. Lol, he's panicking. No intervention order yet. Let him dig. Father is still compliant. Status pending. One user typed, "Kid's gonna crack." Always happens after room feed discovery. And then another message appeared. Different font, red text, suspension, warning, unauthorized viewer detected, trace initiating. The screen glitch flickered. My webcam light turned on by itself. That was when I yanked the power cord so hard the socket sparked. The laptop screen went black. The room went silent. But it didn't end there. The next morning, things were off in the house. My sister didn't complain like she usually does when she wakes up. She didn't even speak. She just sat at the kitchen table, scrolling Instagram reels like her soul was buffering. My mom looked like she hadn't slept. Eyes puffy, hair not brushed, but she was cooking pancakes like a robot on autopilot, like she wasn't there. And my dad? He was already dressed for work, shirt tucked in, tie straight, keys in hand, but he wasn't moving. He was just staring at the toaster like it said something he didn't like. I asked him what was going on. He didn't turn, didn't blink, just said, "Once you're flagged, you don't stop it. The only choice is whether you cooperate." I asked him who they were. He just whispered, "The ones who don't get seen still watch." Then he left. Around 3 p.m., I heard a car door close outside. I peeked through the blinds and froze. A black, unmarked van was parked across the street. No plates, just sitting there. Engine running, windows tinted. A guy in a navy baseball cap was pretending to scroll on his phone, but he wasn't looking at the screen. He was looking at our house, tracking every window, every blind. I recorded him on Snapchat and sent it to my best friend with the caption, "Tell me I'm not losing it." Before it even sent, the app glitched and crashed. When I reopened it, the video was gone from memories. So was the text. Like I never hit send. I tried Instagram. Message failed. TikTok. App wouldn't open. Wi-Fi dropped. Mobile data stopped. Even Google Maps wouldn't load. Everything digital was being cut off. That's when it clicked. They weren't just watching. They were isolating. And then, not even an hour later, someone knocked again. Not like before. 3 knocks. Slow. Intentional. Like a code. My sister got up to answer it, like she was programmed, but I stopped her. Her eyes were dead. Blank. As if they had switched her over to some kind of passive mode. I asked her if she was okay. She didn't blink. Just said, "They only come inside when the house stops resisting." I didn't even know what that meant. But as I write this, I swear to you, the doorknob just turned by itself. Not violently, just a slow, gentle twist, like someone on the other side already knew they were welcome. The door never opened, not fully, not yet. It turned halfway, clicked softly, then stayed there, like a threat that smiled instead of screamed. After that night, I unplugged everything, every smart device, tossed our Amazon Echo into the garbage disposal, smashed the Nest thermostat off the wall, pulled the Wi-Fi router from the outlet, and wrapped it in aluminum foil. Did it help? Number. But it made me feel like I had some kind of control, some pathetic illusion of safety, while the walls kept whispering truths I didn't want to hear. Every screen in the house started glitching. Static bursts on the TV. My phone, even on airplane mode, buzzed randomly with phantom notifications. My sister's iPad powered off, clicked itself on in the middle of the night with a voice I'll never forget. Subject 2 has been pacified. Conditioning successful. Prepare for observation termination. I ran into her room and she was sitting straight up in bed, eyes open, smiling, teeth too wide, like something else was smiling through her. The next morning, there was blood on the porch. Not a smear, not droplets. A trail, thick, dark red, drying into the cracks between the boards. I followed it down the steps and saw that it led to the backyard, behind the shed. And that's when I noticed it wasn't just blood, it was hair. Chunks of hair. Blonde, short strands. My mother's. I sprinted inside. Kitchen, empty. Bathroom, dry. Her room, bed made, sheets untouched. Only one thing was out of place. Her phone, buzzing quietly on the floor. One missed call. No caller ID. Timestamp, 4:44 a.m. Voicemail transcribed to a single phrase. Subject 1 has been relocated. I looked out the back window. The blood trail was gone. Just grass now. Wiped clean. Erased. Like it never happened. I dug the old laptop out of my closet again. My hands were shaking, but I powered it up, praying it still worked. I didn't even make it to the desktop before a full-screen message greeted me. Access granted. Retirement protocol. Pending. The background image had changed. No longer the black void. Now it showed our house, satellite view, zoomed in so tightly I could see the exact dent in the garage door my dad never fixed. There were red dots on the roof, on the windows, one blinking slowly in the living room, and a new folder on the desktop labeled Finals. Inside it, Subject 1, Termination Log, .mov, Subject 3, Pre-termination notes, .txt, Condition footage, 4, .mp4, Retirement ceremony, sim.mp4. My chest locked. I clicked the .txt file for my sister. It read like a journal written by something inhuman, like a science report with personality stripped out. Subject 3, demonstrated compliance post-conditioning event 6. False memory implant regarding accidental fall. Successful. Displays no residual trauma. Predicts self as safe. Personality remapping at 82%. Final test pending. Termination scheduled. November 9th, 2:13 a.m. Method, pulse disruption via infrasound induction. Room, bedroom 2. That was tonight, 2:13 a.m. I checked the clock. 1:52 a.m. My breath turned to ice. I burst into her room. She was lying there, peaceful, like nothing was wrong. But her pupils weren't dilating. They were stuck. She wasn't sleeping. She wasn't awake. She was waiting. I shook her, screamed her name, slapped her. Nothing. Until exactly 2:13 a.m. Then her nose started to bleed. Not a little trickle. A flood. Red pouring down both nostrils. She gasped once. Only once. And then seized violently. Fingers twitching like puppet strings were being cut all at once. I screamed until my throat tore open, and she stopped moving. Eyes wide. No breath. Still smiling. I ran out of the house, barefoot, sprinted through the streets screaming for help. Banged on neighbors' doors. Lights turned on. Blinds opened. But no one came out. Every house had eyes behind glass, staring, watching. No expression. Just waiting. Like everyone in the whole neighborhood had been told what to do and what not to. I collapsed in front of the old woman's lawn 3 houses down. She opened her door, but didn't step out. Just looked at me and whispered, "We tried resisting. We lost a son. You should lie still, boy. You make the shadows impatient." She closed the door. Didn't even lock it. Just closed it. I went back to the house. It was cold now. Unnaturally cold. Like the kind that sinks into your bone marrow and scrapes the edges of your ribs. The front door was already open, and something was sitting in the kitchen. Not a person. Not really. Just shape. Outline of a man, made of shadow thicker than anything I've ever seen, like ink that had dried into flesh. He was drinking coffee. From my dad's mug. No face, but eyes, reflective, like wet tar. He tilted his head and spoke. No lips moved, but I heard it in my head like metal scraping inside my skull. 3 observed. 3 processed. 1 remains. He pointed at the laptop. You logged in. You're part of the system now. Your name is in the directory. I asked him what the point of it all was. Why us? Why anyone? And he smiled, without a mouth. To understand you, we must see you in fear. To record you, we must break your pattern. To break your pattern, we remove what you expect to be safe. He stood up. His body stretched unnaturally tall, brushing the ceiling like he was made of smoke, wearing human skin. He walked past me. I didn't move. Couldn't move. And as he left through the front door, he said, "We don't retire people. We retire predictability. That's where you live." The next morning, police cars, sirens. My sister's body was gone. No trace of blood, just a freshly made bed. My mom's car was parked in the driveway. Her purse was inside. Her keys, her ID. She wasn't. My dad never came home from work. I tried calling every number I knew. All of them led to disconnected signals or strangers claiming I had the wrong number. Even the damn hospital had no record of me ever being born. There's a folder now, on my laptop. I never downloaded it, never created it. It's labeled D17_backup/inside. Live footage of me typing this right now, and a countdown timer at the bottom. 11, 10, 9. It's still going. I think I know what happens when it hits 0. But the thing is, I'm not sure if it means they're coming for me, or if I'm about to join them. And God help anyone who's already opened this post, because if you're watching, you're next. There was no alarm when the countdown hit 0. No bang, no scream, no sudden black fade like a horror movie closing scene. It was worse. The screen blinked white, pure, retina-burning white, like it was trying to bleach my eyes from the inside out. My laptop fans went wild, roaring like jet engines, and then everything stopped, frozen. Not just the computer, the room, the air. I couldn't move, couldn't blink, couldn't hear, not even the sound of my own heartbeat. It was like time slipped, like a skipped frame of reality, where every atom paused to hold its breath and listen. And then something entered the room. No footsteps, no door creak, no shadow, just a presence. It wasn't there, and then it was. A shape, wrapped in what looked like blood-wet burlap, stitched from old hospital gowns and surveillance camera wires, dragging across the carpet like wet snakes. Its body was covered in tags, real ones, hospital wristbands, airport baggage slips, children's school name tags, all soaked in grime and faded names scratched off with something jagged. And its face, there wasn't one, just a polished slab of obsidian, like a handheld mirror melted over bone. But it reflected nothing, not the room, not me, just darkness moving behind glass. Then it spoke, not aloud, not mentally. It spoke through the mouse movements. My cursor slid across the screen on its own, clicked a folder labeled Reversal. Inside, Subject 0, Operator Manual, .pdf, Auto Trigger, Response, Loop, .vbs, Restore Session, .x, 26.4, Field Test Footage, St. Petersburg, 2017, .move, Reality Lag, .wave 0, Directory Admin, .key. The PDF opened. Every page was filled with instructions, bullet points, cold, clinical, emotionless, like a lab notebook written by someone dissecting people who thought they were safe. Once Subject 0 reaches awareness threshold, system allows one recursion. Reversal allows full immersion as observer for 11 hours, 11 minutes, 11 seconds. If Subject 0 reaches empathy, test fails. Must maintain observation without interference. And then the line that twisted my stomach into rope. Subject 0 must select who is next. That's what it was. I wasn't being killed. I was being converted. The presence stepped closer. The lights didn't flicker. They reversed, glowed darker. Negative space bleeding into the walls, like mildew made of secrets. My vision warped. Every object bent toward the presence. My bed frame creaked and turned inward. My closet door pulsed like it had lungs. My phone cracked in half without being touched, the screen fizzing, as if rejecting reality. And then the feed returned. Live room feed. 6 windows, 6 homes, 6 different lives. All unaware, all mundane, all real. 1. A teenage girl in Seoul, dancing for a TikTok. 2. A man brushing his teeth in a hotel bathroom in Toronto. 3. A college dorm in Sydney. 2 roommates asleep, 1 playing League of Legends. 4. A woman eating fries alone at a McDonald's in Las Vegas, FaceTiming her mom, laughing. 5. A young boy drawing with crayons on his bedroom wall in Berlin. Crude sketches of eyes, all eyes, no faces, just pupils. 6. A family at a Starbucks in London. 1 kid crying, parents arguing, another child quietly coloring a napkin black with a Sharpie. Under each feed was a button. Select subject. They wanted me to pick, to choose who becomes me, because I wasn't a victim anymore. I was the next watcher. The PDF said I couldn't interfere, couldn't feel. I had to become what watched without breaking. No questions, no morality. But I was already cracking. I clicked the feed of the boy in Berlin. His crayon drawings were getting more frantic, more red. He was whispering to himself now. I hear them scratching the walls. The man with lights in his eyes says, I'm doing good. I clicked to zoom. There was a camera in his nightlight, soldered inside the shell. He didn't know. His parents didn't know. I knew. And that made me complicit. Then something even worse happened. My feed came back, but it wasn't a live video of me anymore. It was from earlier, 21 minutes earlier. The camera was in my closet, filming me, the me that screamed when my sister's body twisted and went still, the me that fell to my knees, cried, gagged, smashed the mirror. I watched myself break, and then behind me, on the screen, someone walked out of the shadows. Not the faceless figure. My father. He didn't look dead. He didn't look alive either. His hands were trembling, fingertips raw and red, like he'd been clawing at concrete for days. He leaned in close to my broken form on the floor and whispered into my ear. I leaned in to hear it. The audio glitched, warped, then cleared. You get 1 chance. Pick the wrong one, and you watch them die instead. The 6 feeds shifted. Each person in them froze, looked directly at the camera. They could see me, all at once, eyes wide, unblinking. And then they began to plead, but their mouths didn't move. Their screens showed typed messages. Please don't pick me. I'm only 9. I don't even know what this is. I'm not ready to die. They already took my brother. I've seen the red room before. I didn't mean to click. They said I'd forget. I remember now. Please. I remember. My cursor shook violently. The presence behind me whispered again. Not a word, but a taste in my mouth, like pennies and vinegar, like teeth cracking on glass. It was hungry, not for food, for decision. So I picked. I won't say who, because the moment I clicked, I watched them fall. No scream, no violence, just sudden nothing. Eyes rolled back, heart stopped, camera feed cut, gone, just like that. And then, a new window appeared. Initiation, successful. Inside, subject 0. Log entry, initiated.mp4, watcher 118.json, key, unlocked, subject 1, next candidate, pending, recruitment audio, start.wav. My laptop turned black again, and a voice played, my own voice, reading. If you're hearing this, you already opened the file. You've seen the feeds, you read the logs, you've been marked. You are now part of the loop. The next decision is yours. And the screen blinked, once, twice, then loaded a new window. Upload to public node, yes or no? My finger hovered. One more choice. And if I hit yes, you're next. The moment I pressed Y on that final prompt, upload to public node, everything changed. Not outside, not around me, inside. It wasn't like I felt guilt. Guilt would have been a luxury. Guilt needs distance. This wasn't guilt. It was echo, like something whispered back from the place my soul used to sit. And now it was just a chair, empty, still warm. The laptop didn't update, didn't beep, didn't load anything. Instead, the screen turned into a mirror. My face stared back, but it was wrong, just off enough, like my mouth was trying to stay still, but twitched in the corners, like it wanted to smile when I wasn't looking, like something was wearing me slightly incorrectly. Then the screen blinked. Node 0, propagation initiated, key 0, transferred, file path, / contaminate, / user, / infecting, external devices, new subject detected, and suddenly, the feed showed you, your room, your screen, right now, wherever you are, phone, laptop, doesn't matter. One of the windows in the room feed interface had changed, live. It showed a camera positioned behind your shoulder, grainy, slight lag, but there you were, unaware, reading, until now. The terminal printed in real time. Subject has engaged. Retinal scan confirmed via screen reflection. Awareness breach, successful. Status, pending cognitive split. Assigning designation, Watcher Candidate 2731A. Awaiting selection, and in the interface, 6 new lives appeared. All people you don't know, all real, all now. None of them have any idea they're being watched, yet, but you do. And what's worse, you can't stop watching, because once you know, you must participate. The rule is encoded now, into the signal, into the file you just opened, into your device, into your eyes. That's why these stories exist. That's why this was posted at all. Every read, every share, every scroll spreads the chain. The images on your screen begin changing, not fast, subtly. A photo in the background changes its subject. A name in your contacts shifts by 1 letter. A light reflection from your webcam angle just barely moves when it shouldn't. That humming in the background? It's not your fan. It's not your fridge. It's infrasound, buried in the audio codec of the story's back end. You don't hear it directly. Your bones do. Your gut does. Your fear receptors do. You think this is fiction, but your nervous system doesn't. The 6 subjects flicker, then 5, then 4, and the one left? A small girl, bare feet, standing in the middle of a dark basement, holding an unplugged keyboard like a teddy bear. Her face is blank, but her eyes are leaking. Not tears, data, streaming binary like oil down her cheeks, dripping into the floor like tar. And behind her, eyes in the walls, literal ones, crude, blinking ones drawn on old envelopes. They blink out of sync. 1 second, the paper. Next second, they blink in real time. Her profile caption updates. Subject ID 001-A-R. The first known reversal subject. Still conscious. Still locked. Last known watcher refused to choose. System 4 cycled. Outcome. Total cascade breach. Spread initiated. Then, 1 last update. Candidate 2731A. Now marked. Chain preserved. Next breach in 72 hours, 0 minutes, 0 seconds. Auto trigger armed. No opt-out. You want to close this tab now. I know. You think, maybe if you scroll away, force quit, turn off your screen, this stops. But it's already stored, not on your hard drive, on your recognition. The moment your brain accepted the room feed was showing your world, the system got what it needed. And that timer you didn't notice yet, it's already ticking. Somewhere behind your files, your browser cache, your sleep cycle. 3 days. That's what you get. 72 hours to live your life, to try and forget, to notice the new reflections that weren't there yesterday, to watch as one of your lights flickers every time you lie, to wonder why your phone randomly vibrates at 3:19 a.m. every night, to realize the dreams are no longer yours. And after that, after 72 hours, you must choose, because the system doesn't erase you right away. It gives you the same chance I had, the same offer: become the watcher or be retired. You think you won't pick someone, you think you're stronger. I thought that too. So did Subject 0. So did Subject 44. So did the boy with the crayons. So did my sister. Now we're part of the network, the watchers who failed, the stories that end with the reader. This wasn't fiction. This wasn't a post. This was the invitation. And you've already RSVP'd. I was the last narrator. You're the next. And the screen you're staring at, it's already started recording